Okay, what you don't understand about responsibility is really slowing your growth. Okay, so the word responsibility came into the English language from the French language, responsible. Okay, they got the word response in responsible from the Latin word response, which means to answer. So, answerable. But the thing is, the way the French spelt the word responsible before the English changed it to responsible is they ended it with able. Now we spell it response ability, ibility. But from the French word response able, what that meant was response ability. And if you start seeing the word back towards this French root rather than what happened to the word through Englishization, which is also what happened to it for industrialization, this can really empower you to really grow and just naturally, effortlessly. Okay, so when you think of the word responsible, what does it mean to you? For example, to me, it means like, if you got a pet at home, you're responsible to take care of that pet. It can't get its own food out of the shelf, put it into its bowl. So you got to feed it and you got to take it for walks because, yeah, you're accountable to that pet. Same if you have a kid. Same if you have a job where your title is to perform this certain task for a certain company. You're responsible to perform that task for that company. And if you don't prove responsible to do that, then, like, if you just don't do your job, then you don't get paid. Right? So the way we see responsibility, I don't know if this is how you were seeing it, is something we're accountable to. But if you break down the word to its original meaning, it's something completely different. Instead of talking about your accountability to things, what we're talking about is your ability to answer to things. Right? A lot of this stress. Let me tell you this story, okay? One day I'm driving home and I'm thinking, is this extra responsibility? Is this worth the extra $3 an hour I'm making to be coming home with all this stress? I need to do all this stress relief stuff and it's not worth it. I gotta have the talk with my foreman, like scale me back, like get me back to just being a skilled trades worker. No more responsibility of supervising, etc. But then something clicked, and I think it's because I looked back in the past and thought, yeah, I remember my life before this extra responsibility, and it was sweet. I was coming home unfettered, blah, blah, like just got this great job. I do this simple task, then I leave work, and it's awesome. But then I realized I also wasn't as skilled then. And then I thought that when you take on responsibility, you're actually working on your ability to respond, like your response ability. That is your skill in this world. Your ability to answer. To answer what? Whatever comes your way that asks you a question, presents a problem to be answered. But when you see it as response ability, your own personal internal ability to respond to the universe, what work becomes, instead of just being a wage slave trap that you've fallen for, work becomes a training ground. So now, how does seeing this word differently, just that simple act, turn the obstacle of your work world actually into the vehicle that can get you out of doing it as a wage slavery performance? Because I went years of disciplining myself to see it like this. And after years of it, I developed some very strong skills. I started taking on any responsibility offered. Foreman would say, I can't be around for this because I got this job, this. I'd say, well, give that to me. I went from pushing to him that I'm doing too much and need to do less to taking on more responsibility. It was a total shift. But I had to use strategy with this shift, remember? Because when you take on responsibility, people are going to notice your ability to respond, right? Like you are taking on that accountability with this company, and you're on the radar. So I think that is where the stress comes from. The fact that there's other people that are going to judge our response ability. And that's something we just totally need to get over. Or that's something I just completely needed to get over, I should say. Not we. All I know and all I can speak for is myself. So, responsibility, taking on the practice of it, seeing that way, can destroy you if you're going to worry about what everyone else is thinking you and how harshly they're judging your mistakes. And this is the double-edged sword that can harm you, is that you're accountable with your ability when you take it on at work, for others to be the ones who judge your ability and how good you should feel about fulfilling your responsibility. But if you just see it as the practice, just see responsibility as the practice of improving your ability to respond to anything that comes your way through work. We're just talking about work right now. Then what happens is you stop even seeing your mistakes. You really need to, because it's just training. And just like in any training, when you commit to it, you know you're going to have some stuff to learn, because perfection just doesn't exist. It doesn't come. It's constantly working on it and working on being effective. But what's going to hold back and what you learn about training in any area is eventually what holds you back is your own reluctance to make mistakes. Because especially when other people are judging you, like a boss. But anyone, if you got a parent who notices your mistakes in, let's say, cross-country running club, or at any sport, you might get caught up that mistakes are bad because they're encouraging you not to make them. The world encourages you not to make mistakes, right? That's what it does. That's what the pack does. But you have to actually encourage yourself to make mistakes. That's what being committed to work on your responsibility actually is. You are taking on the mistakes, the errors, the shame that you could perceive the people around you to be having for you. So, taking on the world of true responsibility, working on simply your ability, like a fighter, working on their ability to defend themselves or others. You're going to need another lesson now, of course. You're going to need to learn what boundaries actually are. Because when you make this fertile land within yourself of being able to respond with tremendous ability, other people are now going to try to take advantage of that. It's what they do. You got a fountain sprouting water on your land, they're going to come to drink from it. That's why you also need to learn in this wonderful, vast, amazing life what boundaries actually are. And you'll see why not understanding what a personal boundary is destroying you. Thanks. Take care. Good luck in this thing we call life. Let's admit, it's pretty crazy. That's why there's a lot of addicts out there, a lot of addiction, because it's crazy. And I hope that some of this information could help you. It helps me, and I really have noticed that a lot of people around me, if they changed how they saw things, maybe as I had come to do, they could have a better quality of life. I don't know why that's important, but yeah, it is. I like seeing people having fun, prospering. I like seeing the light in people, not the darkness. So I really do just hope that my story maybe helps you, and that you'll consider to see responsibility as your response ability. And check out my video about boundaries if you have any interest in that, if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Have a great day.